Get more for your money. Ben Stein, Patricia Powell and Mike Norman are back, and joining us now, Tom Adkins and Peter Schiff. Tom, what do you think?
You're going to see prices go up about 10%. Here's why. Because you're going to come into a regular, normal market, and a regular, normal market, so that's about what kind of appreciation you get. Why? I look at the hit that the housing industry took over the past year. You had oil prices that went up, which made gasoline cost 50% more. You had the Federal Reserve over 2 years raise rates 300%. And still, the housing market barely took it at all. It became a 3% cut in prices.
So your judgment is home prices up 10% in the coming year. Peter, what do you say?
Well, today's home prices are completely unsustainable. They were bid up to these artificial heights by a combination of temporarily low adjustable rate mortgage payments, by a complete, absence of any lending standards, and by speculative buying. And what's going to happen in 2007 is a lot of these artificially low ARM payments are going to be reset upward. You're going to start to see both the government and the lenders reimposing lending standards and tightening up on credit. And you're going to see a lot of the speculative buyers turn into sellers. And these sky-high real estate prices are going to come crashing back down to earth. And there's no way to stop it other than the Federal Reserve creating so much inflation that rather than real estate prices collapsing, the price of everything else goes through the roof. And so I say it really doesn't mean much if your townhome is worth $1 million if it costs you $500 to fill up your refrigerator.
Okay, so your word is sharply lower by the end of 2007. Ben Stein, what's your opinion on this?
I have no idea what they'll be like, but it would be a very, very unusual housing correction if it didn't take a few years to run its course, and this one is only a year old. But I always say if you find a house you love, buy it. In 10 years it'll be worth a lot more. I would not try to get absolutely bottom dollar in my buying. I'd find a house I love and I'd buy it, and I would just be patient.
The voice of reason, Ben Stein.
Not if it's overpriced, though. If it's overpriced, just rent it.
Now, net income growth is far too great to have this happen. Yeah. It's not going to happen.
Come on.
I think the prices are still going to come down. I think Ben is right that it's not over yet, that 1 year, and it's not much of a correction anyway. We barely had a blip at all.
Prices are already on the way back up now.
Every time you have a 1% change in the mortgage rate, there's an 11% change in the mortgage payment. And so unless the Fed is going to come in and seriously lower rates, I don't see how it can happen. I think we're going to continue with this correction, but mild. A couple points maybe.
Mike.
First of all, I have no idea what Peter Schiff is talking about. I agree with Tom. I think they're going to be probably up to about 10%. What artificial lending standard are you talking about?
Well,
mortgages have been issued. We have a tiny default rate in the single digits, and that only applies to subprime. In other words, people with the lowest level of credit standard. By the way, the economy still is very strong. We have a 4.5% unemployment rate. GDP is growing. The demographics, in other words, family formations, all the things that factor into housing are playing in here, and that is why we have not had a crash.
What I'm talking about, people buying houses with no documentation of their income, putting nothing down,
what percent?
Let me finish.
Wait, let me finish.
With no documentation, putting nothing down, getting negative amortization, interest-only mortgages. They're buying homes they can't afford. They're speculating on appreciation.
Hold on. Interest-only mortgages there's nothing wrong with them because you're paying the interest, you're not losing money on it. But the key thing to look at is net income growth. If net income growth is going up and interest rates are staying the same and we have no inflation right now, there's no reason for it to go up, you're going to see prices go up again.
Yeah, a lot of people who did that made a lot of money on their return on investment. They made a lot of money.
Wait. Last word to Peter.
Most of the profits that people have in real estate are going to vanish, just like the profits in the dot-coms in 1999, 2000. It's a fantasy. People can't sell their house. The inventories are exploding all over the country. Houses are on the market for 6 months a year. There's no bidders. The prices are going to fall through the floor. You guys are deluding yourself.
We heard it loud and clear from all of our panelists. We thank you very much. Next.
Are you ready? Do you have what it takes to not only survive hard times, but also thrive in them? In times like these, the most valuable currency we have is food and food reserves. It is more precious than gold, oil, and cash. Food is our greatest dependency, because when you're hungry, nothing else matters. You know it, and I know it. You can't control earthquakes, floods, or the real estate meltdown, but if you have food, you have personal solutions to how these things affect you. Register right here, right now, and order your 6 free meals so you can truly discover what the currency of the future and your freedom taste like. eFoods Global, saving families one meal at a time.